Well, thanks again, everyone, for inviting me to speak today. I am part of GitHub, and I've been at GitHub since September. I was a GitHub customer and then decided to join the team. So I work as part of our services team. And as part of that team, I'm responsible for helping customers develop solutions for customers to help them scale their organization and improve software development at their organizations. So with this presentation, I just wanted to mostly give you an overview of GitHub, kind of some ideas of how you might use it, and equip you with some resources as well, so that you'll be able to learn more and get set up. Oops. So GitHub you've probably heard of as a place to store your code. So it's definitely was created with that purpose in mind, and it's a really important place for a lot of our software developers to share open source projects and build off of others' work. But there's also a lot of other uses for it. So GitHub kind of helps to help organizations and individuals unleash innovation, share and collaborate with each other. So GitHub brings a lot of different open source workflows together and breaks down silos in organizations and throughout the world with people collaborating together. It helps by linking you to other experts in areas you're interested in, allowing you to collaborate with folks around the world, allowing you to use the work that others have created and improve it or add to it. So those are some of the examples of how we use it. The social aspect of it is also a huge factor. So as of April, we have 36 million developers and users on it. So you're able to follow projects. You can interact with people by starring their project, basically kind of like liking their work. You can also explore interests you have in terms of searching on topics that you're interested in or looking for trending topics throughout GitHub. And you can also share your achievements, and that's these little green squares that kind of show your contributions throughout the months and weeks. And the darker they are, the more you've contributed. So you can kind of see what everybody's been up to. So why use GitHub? Well, collaboration is a big part of that. And I think from what I've heard about this organization, that's something you're very interested in. It allows you to review work in progress, as I mentioned. And you can have discussions with the team as well, which I'm going to go through and show you too, in terms of how you can collaborate and brainstorm together. You can also see progress for the team and also review history of projects and changes that have been made as well. Searching for other collaborators, I think, is a topic I wanted to cover as well, as it seems everyone's looking for who's doing similar work and how can we be connected and work together. So you can search in a variety of different areas in terms of repositories, searching on topics, issues, searching commits. There's also wikis. You can search on users. So a bunch of different options there. And I included a resource here as well. So you can definitely get more in depth on different search strategies to find what you're looking for. Avoiding duplication is another topic that I heard we might want to discuss. So in terms of avoiding duplication of work, you would first start by searching for others doing similar work. And if you do find somebody who's doing work that you like and you want to perhaps use and maybe take it down a little bit of a different path, you can do what's called a fork. And that's basically taking a copy of that project, and then that allows you to change it the way you want, but not affect the way that their project is going to work. You could also, if you wanted to continue to work with them on their project, you could submit a pull request, which that's going to show them a change that you have in mind, and they can either approve it or discuss it with you and decide whether or not you're going to implement that change into the original project. So that's kind of the core of GitHub and, you know, working together to make projects even better. So then I want to take a second to, do a demo here. So let me do that. All right. So on this screen, I just wanted to show, and let me zoom in on this a little bit as well. So I wanted to give you a little quick walkthrough of GitHub and some of, I guess, the features in the interface so that you felt familiar with it when you pull it up and look at it. So I pulled up the WILDLABS page here. And the first part of every GitHub page here is the README. And this kind of tells you about this project, gives you any guidelines for participating in the project. Often it will tell you contact information, as you can see here, the members section. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on this open soundscape example here. And this brings you into their project, and you can see they also have a README file here. It gives you their quick start guide. And just to go over some of the, I guess, tabs you'll see here. So we have issues. And this is a great place to, you can do a lot here. So you can brainstorm with others, which is what we use it for a lot at GitHub. You could also use it in terms of opening like a trouble ticket in a way too. If you find a problem, you can open an issue here and let folks know about that and discuss how you might want to fix it. Just to open one up to give you an example. You can create checklists in it, which are really helpful. And you can also add labels over here on the side. You know, if you wanted to label it as a certain type of technology or a certain type of wildlife, a certain type of project, you could do that there. You can also see who's working on it here. You can subscribe to notifications if you want to be notified about any updates to this project. And you'll see all of the history here on what's been done. Over here in pull requests, this is what I had mentioned with forking. If you wanted to update a project or give an idea of maybe a change to make to the project. So we'll go ahead and click on this one. And when you're in the pull request, if you click on files changed, in red, you'll be able to see updates that were made. Go over to projects. So if any of you have ever used Jira or a similar like project management or agile software tracking mechanism, you might be familiar with the look of this. So this shows kind of all of your projects, and it allows you to drag and drop them in between like when they're in progress or done, kind of the status of the project. So it's just a different way for you to look at kind of how you're tracking your work and your progress towards your goals and keeping track of who's working on what. And there's also a wiki section where you can create kind of a little web page, and you don't really have to have development experience for that either. So that's a nice feature, and I do have some resources in the rest of the slides for that too. And then the last tab we have here is insights. So this page gives you just some information on kind of what's going on within this repository. So you can see here, it has a checklist for community standards and some things you might want to add to the repository. So it definitely guides you through. You can also see the commits, and it'll give you some nice graphs on that to track your work too. So just a lot of other features you can use here. You can watch the project by clicking this button here, and that'll just notify you of changes as well. And you can also star it, which is like liking it. And then this is the button for forking it, as we mentioned, in terms of being able to use that project. Also really quickly wanted to show you Learning Lab, which is a really great resource for learning how to use GitHub. So this launched, I think it was about the fall of last year. And this resource teaches you how to use GitHub within GitHub. So you're actually using the tool to learn how to use the tool. So very hands-on, very easy to use. And actually last week they launched the ability to create courses to the public. So I think like Lou was saying about having some training opportunities and stuff, this might be a great resource for that in terms of creating a course for free and having it available to the public here, being able to scale the learning here through GitHub. And it uses your GitHub login credentials, so super easy to sign in, just using your same GitHub login. And we create a different course every month, so there's always going to be new content. And now with public courses available, there will be even more. But there's a little bit of everything in here in terms of what you might want to learn. You know, reviewing pull requests, communicating using Markdown, which is used in GitHub. An introduction to GitHub, GitHub pages if you wanted to learn more about how to create your own website in GitHub. One I wanted to point out that I think would be great for this group is the Community Starter Kit. And that one kind of shares more with you on how to make your project stand out in GitHub and how to get started there. So that might be a great one to take a look at too. I'll just go ahead and click on one of these real quick too to show you how these look. So to start, it kind of shows you what you're going to be learning in this course. And let's see. I'd already taken this one, so this is probably a bad example to do. Let me go back here. We'll do introduction to GitHub to make it easier. So it goes ahead, oh geez, another one I've already done. So this one, it takes a minute and it sets up a repository for you, and then you're gonna take the course within GitHub, within the issues. And then one last thing I wanted to show was just some examples of other ways that people have used GitHub that I just pulled up really quickly too. So I just wanted to, I guess, encourage you to you know, be creative and, you know, don't think that this is only for software developers. You know, people have used it to improve recipes. You know, there's a ton of different things you can do with it. So just wanted to share that as well. Then I'm going to flip back over to my slides. And as we talked about briefly too, there's the ability to create websites, and I've included a link here for that. And then also wanted to just recap some of the things we covered in the quick demo. So collaborating on ideas and issues. This just allows you to, you know, share information and updates on your work. Labeling makes it easy to find issues you care about by categorizing them. You can also easily search on issues as well. At GitHub, we use, you know, GitHub for everything. So even our legal team collaborates on documents there. I personally do all of my work in GitHub. Anything I need ideas on, I open an issue and ask for feedback on it. And the rest of the team, you know, posts their ideas there. We come to a conclusion, and then we can close out that issue once we've reached a consensus. So it's a great way to work on ideas with others. Just to recap Learning Lab, it's a great place to learn about GitHub and how to use it. As I mentioned, there's a new course released every month, and you can now create your own courses. And then I wanted to leave you with some additional resources. So the GitHub community page is a great place to, you know, answer any questions you might have, see what others are talking about. There's also how-to guides that are really helpful to start with. There's a What is GitHub video that, you know, is a great place to learn a little more and get an overview of GitHub in a fun little video. It's only a few minutes long, and I think it's a great way to, you know, feel really comfortable with understanding what GitHub can be used for. There's also a few LinkedIn learning courses if anyone uses LinkedIn Learning, and we actually just collaborated with LinkedIn on a few more that'll be releasing, I believe, at the end of this month. The GitHub blog is a great place to go to see the latest news. We're always launching new things. We have a big event called GitHub Satellite coming up on May 23rd. So there'll be a bunch of things launching then. So make sure to check the blog after that to see what happened. And then I also included a link for what you get for free. I think that's great to know too. So you really get a lot of things for free with GitHub. And earlier in the year, they had released private repositories for free as well. So those are all great things to know and be aware of. And that's all I had for you. And then, you know, feel free to follow me on GitHub or reach out if you have any other questions after the event.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Corinne. There's been a lot of chat, but no specific questions at this stage. But if anyone wants to chime in now to put a question to Corinne specifically about GitHub, please do jump in now.
Yeah, thank you. That was a fantastic overview. We were all just geeking out in the chat that if you didn't have a chance to read it while you were talking about all the various different ways that GitHub's been used for project management, from wedding organization to house renovations.
Oh, good. Yeah. I hope it'll be useful for you too. As I mentioned with Learning Labs, it might be a great way to create some courses for the group.
Since we've got both of you on the line, and just before we jump into Shah, Lou, one of the things you talk about is not just, what's the word that you used? You didn't use it today, but it's the building the trellis of platforms. Sorry, I'll turn on my video. It's that your community doesn't exist just in one space, and there are all these tools that exist across the web and in person and online. And I wonder, I'm not sure what my question is. It just makes me, GitHub strikes me as a very useful tool, and it has community aspects, but it's almost a tool that you can use in conjunction with community that might exist elsewhere. Do you have, either of you have suggestions about how to bridge those two different, how to make your community work when it exists in so many different spaces, whether it's on Twitter or on your own platform or on GitHub or in person, like how to make all of those bits work together?
Yeah, I know with GitHub, there's a bunch of different integrations you can do. I'm not sure in terms of like social media what there is, but I know if you search on GitHub integrations, there'd probably be a lot you could find on that. I think having like one central place is probably really helpful too, and kind of have the groups branch out to the other tools for their specific needs, but kind of always have that one place to come back to would be helpful in my opinion. Yeah. That's really all I have.
I think Slack is another good example of a tool that has seen and acknowledged that no one company is likely to build everything. So, you know, to the point about technology orientations and the fact that often if you're trying to solve a particular need, you need multiple tools to build up to that need. I think various companies are realizing, well, actually they can't build everything. And so figuring out smart integrations is key. But I think some are more user-friendly than others. And I do think you still need that human signposting of how those integrations work, because each community is going to adopt and adapt them in different ways.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And Joe is on board with this and is going to drop some links into the chat. Hey Rob, did you have a specific question about GitHub?
Yeah, g'day Corinne, thank you for that. I just had a very quick question, and a lot of us are very interested in about how we can harness the hundreds, if not thousands of people that are actively involved in WILDLABS. And I just thought it would be good to share with everyone an example of maybe a large group of people that are collaborating on GitHub that you can think of.
Yeah, so I typically mostly work with corporate businesses, so unfortunately those are probably most of my examples, but Microsoft was one of our biggest group of collaborators prior to purchasing GitHub last year. So they definitely were a large one. IBM uses it a lot as well. So there's a lot of big corporations that have thousands of users. In terms of nonprofits or like smaller groups collaborating across the world, I don't really have any good examples for you just because that's not the area I work in every day, but I am happy to contact some folks and see if I can get some examples to share back with the group.
That would be wonderful. We'll keep you to that as part of the follow-up.